It was said to be haunted, but most of her friends had laughed it off as nothing more than a ghost story. But as she walked by, she saw it. The bathroom door was slightly ajar, a flicker of movement behind the crack. For some reasons, Emma couldn't look away. She hesitated, then pushed the door open. The air inside was heavy, thick with dust, and the overhead lights flickered as if they were about to go out. Emma glanced around. It was a typical bathroom, faded pink tiles, chipped mirrors, and a full sink. But something in the far corner of the room caught her attention. A mirror. The largest one in the room, framed in a tarnished gold, looked different. The reflection didn't match the room. It was distorted and somehow warped. Her heart began to race, but Emma couldn't tear her eyes away. Suddenly she felt a presence. The hairs on the back of her neck stood as if someone was watching her. Emma turned around, but there was no one there. The sound of water dripping echoed in silence. She looked down at her feet. The sink closest to her was running, water pooling beneath it. A voice, barely a whisper, drifted from the mirror. "Help me!" Emma froze. Her breath caught in her throat. She could swear she had heard it, someone or something pleading for help. Her heart thudded in her chest and she stepped back. Her mind screaming for her to run, but the voice called out again, louder this time. "Help me, Emma! Help me!" It was her name. Shaking, Emma turned and ran out of the bathroom. Slamming the door behind her, she didn't stop until she reached her next class. Breathless and shaking, she tried to shake the image from her head, but it lingered like a shadow she couldn't escape. That night, Emma tried to forget about what happened. She told herself it was just a figment of her imagination, a trick of the light maybe, but as she lay in the bed, the image of the mirror and the voice kept returning. It was as if the words were etched in her brain. The next morning, Emma couldn't resist the urge to go back. She needed to know what had happened, what she heard. She walked to the bathroom again, heart pounding in her chest. The door was still ajar just like before. She stepped inside, but this time the air was colder, the silence deeper. She slowly approached the large mirror, her reflection staring back at her. But this time something was different. Her reflection wasn't hers. A girl, pale and thin, with hollow eyes and long tangled hair, stood where Emma should have been. The girl's lips moved, but no sound came out. Then slowly the reflection raised one hand, pointed directly at Emma. Emma's breath caught in her throat as she stumbled backward. Her reflection smirked, its eyes narrowing with malicious intent. The reflection's lip twisted into a grin. "You are next," it whispered, its voice now a low growl. In a panic, Emma turned and fled the bathroom, not stopping until she reached the principal's office. She was too terrified to speak at first, but when she finally did, the words stumbled out in a rush. She told the principal about the mirror, about the reflection, about the voice. The principal listened carefully, then paused before speaking. "I know exactly what you're talking about, Emma. That mirror, it's been there for decades. It was installed in the 1950s, and since then, there have been strange disappearances, students who went missing and were never found. Every year, a new victim. We thought it was just a rumor." Emma's heart sank as she listened to the principal's story. They said the mirror reflects something dark, something alive. If you see it, it marks you, and once you're marked, it won't stop until it takes you. Emma felt a chill run down her spine. She had seen it. She had heard it. She was marked. That night, Emma locked all the doors and windows in her house, her thoughts consumed by the mirror. But in the darkness as she lay in bed, she heard the faintest whispering again. It was coming from her mirror, the one she had at home. "Help me. Help me, Emma." The reflection in her bedroom mirror was no longer hers either. It was that same pale, hollow-eyed girl, and this time she was grinning. The next morning, Emma was gone. No one knew what happened to her. Her friends, her teachers, even her parents all searched for her, but there was no sign of her anywhere. Some say if you stand in front of any mirror at Blackwood High, you will see her reflection, her hollow eyes staring back at you, whispering in the silence. Help me, or you will be next.